Hi, everybody. This morning I'm going to read to you one story from a book called The Book of Giant Stories. And the first story is going to be The Little Boy's Secret. And speaking of little boys, look what I found. This is kind of neat for me. Our little boy is now 46 years old, and Bob's handwriting is on the inside of the book. Robert Michael Wyckoff, or Bobby Michael Wyckoff. I don't know what grade they taught handwriting back in the 70s, but that's what I found. Anyway, I'm going to start reading you the story now before I forget. The Book of Stories, the Book of Giant Stories, The Little Boy's Secret. One day, a little boy left school, and he left early because he had a secret to tell his mother. He was in a hurry to get home, so he took a shortcut through some woods where three terrible giants lived. He hadn't gone far, and he met one of them standing in the path. The first giant that he met on his way home from school. When the giant saw the little boy, he put his hands on his hips and he roared, "What are you doing here, boy? Don't you know whose woods these are?" "I'm on my way home," answered the little boy. "I have a secret to tell my mother." Well, that made the giant furious. "A secret? What secret?" "I can't tell you," said the little boy, "or it wouldn't be a secret anymore." "Then I'm taking you to our castle," said the giant. And stooping down, he picked up the little boy and plopped him into his shirt pocket. Before long, the first giant met a second giant who was twice as big, three times as ugly, and four times as mean. "What's that in your pocket?" he asked the first giant. "It's a boy," he answered. "Says he has a secret that he won't tell us." When the second giant heard that, he laughed a wicked laugh. "He won't tell us, eh? Well, we'll see about that. To the castle with him." The giants thumped on down the path, and in a short time they came to a huge, huge castle next to a muddy river. At the door they met the third giant, who was 5 times bigger, 6 times uglier, and 7 times as mean as the second giant. "What's that in your pocket?" he asked the first giant. "It's a boy," he answered. "A boy?" He brought his huge eye close to the pocket. And then he peeked in. "Yeah, he says he won't tell us his secret," said the first giant. When the third giant heard that, he laughed a terrible laugh. "He won't tell us, huh? Well, we'll see about that. To the table, and on to the table with him." Here is the third giant atop the castle talking to the other two giants, where we see the little boy in the first giant's pocket. What a big castle, and what a big giant. The first giant took the little boy from his pocket and he set him on the kitchen table. Then all three giants clustered around him and peered down at him. The little boy looked at the first giant, and then he looked at the second giant, and then he looked up even further at the third giant. "Well," said the first giant. "We're waiting," said the second. "I'll count to 3," said the third giant. "1, 2," and the little boy let out a big sigh. "Oh, all right," said the little boy. "I suppose I can tell you, but if you do, you must promise to let me go." There he is on the table with the three giants. "We promise," answered all the giants, but they all winked a sly wink at each other and crossed their fingers behind their backs because they had no intentions of letting this little boy go. The little boy turned to the first giant and he said, bend down. And he looked around, and then he whispered into the giant's ear. When the giant heard the secret, he leaped up from the table, his knees shook, his tongue hung out, and oh, he shouted, "That's terrible!" And he dashed from the castle, ran deep into the woods, and climbed to the top of a tall tree. And he didn't come down for 3 days. The second giant scowled at the little boy. "What's wrong with him?" "Never mind," said the little boy. "Just bend down." And here he is whispering into the ear of the second giant. When the second giant heard the secret, he leaped up so fast he knocked his chair over. His eyes rolled, his ears twitched. "That's awful!" he roared. And he raced from the castle, ran over a hill, and crawled into the deepest, darkest cave that he could find. The third giant scowled fiercely at the little boy. "What is wrong with them?" "Never mind," said the little boy. "Just bend down." When the giant leaned down, the little boy climbed onto a teacup so he could reach his ear, and he whispered. When that third huge giant, the biggest of all giants, heard the secret, he jumped up so fast that he ripped his trousers, he ripped his pants. His teeth chattered, his hair stood right up. "Help! Get me out of here!" And he dashed from that castle, and he dived head first into a muddy river. What could they be so afraid of? The castle door had been left open, and since the giants had promised the little boy that he could go, he walked on home. And then he told his mother his secret. But she didn't yell. She didn't get scared. She didn't run away. She put her little boy to bed, and she fed him supper. The next morning, when the little boy woke up, he was covered from head to toe with bright red spots. "Now I can tell everybody my secret," he said with a smile. "My secret? I'm getting the measles." Here he is climbing into bed, and Mom's bringing him his supper. Hope you enjoyed today's story. It's a beautiful day outside here in Hawley, Pennsylvania, and I hope you have a great day.